What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Back with our inspiration motivation Sunday. Once again, had a great live. We talked about why college football is afraid of Coach Prime. Of course, all the haters and the Twitter fingers, YouTube finger, Coach Prime haters are all clowns. Everybody is coming out. It's still on and going. Make sure y'all check that out. Especially if you like, share, and subscribe. Follow these videos. Share these videos. Like them, all that good stuff. But anywho, as I promised, I kind of got a lot into what we typically get into on this video here. Our second video, inspiration, motivation. And it's kind of like I said, we go into the deeper things. We get even deeper. And it's kind of like a good message behind it, you know. Not like it's not all the time, but it's typically, it's a duality to every meaning. And we want to get more out of this thing, right? We're not playing football. I'm not playing football. I'm not trying to play football. But the reality is we have a lot that we can learn from Colorado in this situation. And the situation is this. What Colorado is going through right now is not unique. It's no longer unique to college football. Everybody's going to go through it. We got a lot of players who, in their adolescence, they're trying to figure themselves out. So it's an identity crisis at the very least. I'm just going to say it like that. A lot of these players go to schools for a lot of different reasons. Maybe they like the reputation of the school. Some may say they can go to NFL from that school. Others are going there for money, clout, whatever you want to call. And a lot of times they figure out, this is not the place for me. I had the wrong perspective of why I want to go here, or about this school, or about this coaching staff. Plus, a lot of things can happen. Coaches can leave. Coaches can get fired. It's a lot of things that can go on that'll make a player leave naturally. But now we have this thing now where the player can just say, I don't feel like waiting. I don't feel like competing or whatever. And not only can they do that once, but they can do that twice. They can do it 3 times. A lot of the barriers that we normally would have, or we've had over the last few decades when it comes to NCAA football, has changed. Even especially recently, where players can transfer as much as they want. There's no requirement to have certain documentation or a certain reason to be able to do it. And like I said earlier, back in the day, if you transfer, you had to sit out, or you had to go down a level from D1 to D2, or high D1 to D1A to D1 2A. That's what it was called back then. Now we got FCS, FBS, you know. So what we're looking at, it's going to be the new norm unless they make a change again. And Colorado is just a victim of it. And like I said earlier, it's just a messed up situation when you lose a player, when the portal closed, when you getting ready to come back, work out summer workouts, you starting to solidify with your team. Like, it's enough you got to replace 30, 40 players a year. But then you finally get your stuff together, and that's still not enough. A commitment is not enough. What are we doing here? What are we doing here when you can put a player in a situation where his commitment means absolutely nothing? How does that affect the fans? How does that affect the coaching staff? How does that affect the team when you start to develop this, I'm committed and I'm not committed? Or you develop this mindset that everything's temporary. I mean, we literally have guys now who can join the team in January and lead a team before May. It's a very temporary, temporal mindset that's not really conducive. It's not a good thing. It's not a good mindset to have in life. Yet we're seeing it. So what is that going to look like? A very unstable college football scene. And I mean, more unstable than anybody, because I mean, there's no contracts, there's no thing to break. Like, at least in the NFL, you can have a contract, you have to break it, somebody to pay you off. Certain things got to happen. But college, now we just leave. And it's definitely going to affect them academically. I can't see how. I've been in college. I've been a college athlete. I don't see how it doesn't have repercussions even there. So it's not like they have no repercussions. But at the end of the day, it's a thing. It's a human thing. It's a thing that in life, if we don't master it, if they don't master it in college and they take this mentality or it become a generational mentality, we're in for something. I mean, because life is built on commitments. Life is built on, you know, people's ability to say they're going to do something and do it. Life is dependent on people being dependable. Our ecosystem, our corporations, our businesses is built on people doing what they say they're going to do. We have contracts. They're built not for the majority, but for the minority who chooses not to, you know, do their part. But when you get to the place where people feel like they can act like they're gonna do their part and still choose to consciously not do their part, that's a scary thing. And it's definitely a scary thing when it becomes the mindset of a significant amount of people. When the majority of people start to feel like, hey, I can say I'm gonna do it, but I really don't plan on doing it. I'm just gonna say it. So what's the point of going through the formality? Like I said with football, what's the point of saying I commit if I'm really just considering? Let's call it that, considering. If they can just jump. Don't just do away with the commitment. It's no longer cute, because when that term was originally used and put in place, it actually meant something else. The rules meant something else back then. Like I said, you couldn't jump like that. So a commitment was a commitment, and you wasn't definitely able to transfer like that. So whether you was committed as a high school athlete or committed as a college transfer, it had more weight because you just couldn't move around like that. So if you're going to change things, it's almost like we need to change the language as well, because they're showing you the commitment is not a commitment at all. It's a possibility. 9 times out of 10, I'll be there. Maybe even 5 times out of 10, like we seen with Amos. Maybe they got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But don't act like it's a commitment. What is the definition of commitment? Because you're not committed when you're going on college visits to other teams while you're committed. And you did it before you came to Colorado, and then you did it to Colorado. So that's something you do. But what happens when we don't check this thing and we raise a whole generation who don't value commitment? It's going to affect way more than just some college football. It's going to affect jobs. It's going to affect families and their relationships. It's going to affect society as a whole when we think we can just play with terms, when we can just eliminate certain type of character that's needed and certain type of things that we have succeeded with. We talk about all the issues in the world, but certain foundational stuff you just don't want to mess with. You just don't want to mess with character, because Prime always talk about character, you know, and that's a big thing. Doing what you say, when you say, how you say. No manipulative funding business, and no trying to make somebody else commit to something and you hold them accountable, but they can't hold you accountable to doing your part. That's a problem. And believe it or not, that's what we raising here in this portal world. I'm committed to you, and you better be committed to me while I'm fantasizing with the idea of going somewhere else. Now, the reality is, I get it to an extent, because the football coaches are bringing in multiple youth, so you do have to look out for yourself. And they're going to recruit to replace you the next year. But this is probably the reason why. And in real life, that's some funny stuff. It's like being married and saying, but I'm going to keep a side chick just in case this don't work. Or a boyfriend, and you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you got another boyfriend or a girlfriend, or a few of them. That's what that mentality usually leads to. I'm going to look out for me because I don't trust you. And it creates trust issues, and it's breeded from a lack of trust. Boy, we don't really want to go there. But I can see how college football can breed a lack of trust, because, like they say, the coaches can leave when they want to. They can get fired. You know, that can happen. So the players got to look out for themselves, but it's look like it's getting out of hand. Somebody better reel it in. They better reel it in. It's going to destroy that model, that the college football model. But also, it will destroy character. And we're supposed to be building character when it comes to sports. We're supposed to be building teamwork. You know, we're supposed to be building discipline, reliability. You know, they're supposed to trust you can go to class and come to practice and be responsible. All of that is something you need to learn that typically is a good asset to have when you go into adulthood, learning how to be responsible and reliable and dependable, whatever. Gotta get back to it. We defeating the purpose. We defeating the purpose of what sports was supposed to have been about. We're getting away from it. But I'm just Greg. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all soon.